most writing advice tries to give you some sort of certainty, like here's how much you're supposed to write before breakfast, here's the writer you're supposed to read, here's the proper way to structure a story or whatever. It treats uncertainty as if it's like a bad thing. But if you think about stories that you like, or song lyrics, or any piece of writing that you're inspired by, like, I don't think that the writer was writing from some sort of formula there, or like they wrote something really good because they did it correctly and they have abolished uncertainty inside themselves. I think that they wrote that and it was brilliant because in the middle of the process, they were enjoying themselves and they didn't know what was going to happen. So the point here is that like uncertainty is a good thing. We want uncertainty. There's plenty of uncertainty available. So how do we make it so that it's like enjoyable as we're writing? And so what I found is that there's something that you can do that's kind of like what you do if you're obsessing about something. The key difference is that, okay, so I think of this as holding a question. And what you do with this is like you have something that you need to figure out. It's maybe like, how do I get from chapter 2 to 3 without things feeling contrived? What's my character's backstory? Or if you're writing about something personal, then it's like, what do I want my life to look like in 5 years? These are questions that you have that are not a destination that you're going to reach necessarily. It's more like a compass heading. So you have the question and you hold it in mind and you write where you're uncertain, like what the answer of that question is. You don't know. And you'll continue writing. You write whatever's present for you and you write around what you don't know. And when you're doing this, you're doing a lot of things in the background. You're holding the question in the background, but also you're being a lot more peripheral in your writing. Like you're being spacious. And so not knowing is not some sort of like a urgent thing. Like you're just exploring, you're feeling things out. And when you don't know the answer to the question, you're writing about whatever is alive in the moment that's adjacent to that question. And so in the end, you end up answering the question to some extent. And often it comes by write it the wrong way first, or like what's the stupid way of answering that question. Maybe it doesn't turn out to be so stupid in the end. And because you're just writing what's present to you and you're taking the whole thing a lot more lightly, you're enjoying the process, and in the enjoyment, new ideas are occurring to you. So this is key. I figure it's easier if I just kind of walk you through what this looks like with an example from my own life. I make pottery and I have a question that I'm wondering about, which is like, I like making things on the wheel, but I haven't figured out what I want to do glaze-wise. So I'm just going to kind of walk through that example. Definitely feel free and like skip ahead if you want at any point, or skip to the end of this, but just wanted to walk you through like, so what I'm doing now is just kind of beginning this search. It's like starting with the question, and I'm kind of feeling into it. And so really this is just like me talking it out with myself on the page. But the way I'm navigating this is like, I'm not necessarily, like I'm thinking it out on the page and talking with myself kind of. But like the fact that I'm writing it makes me kind of slow down, and it gets me more into a place where I'm kind of feeling it out. Like these aren't necessarily complete sentences. They probably don't make sense to anybody else exactly. It's just kind of moving from one thing to another. And if you notice, like what I'm going back and forth with is like what I do like, what I don't like, what I've tried, what hasn't worked. And the thing that's holding this all together is that there's something that I want. And that's allowing the process of holding the question to circle around like a unified thing. Like I'm going through these different layers that I have in terms of how am I thinking about pottery, what drew me to it, like what what does it mean to glaze the surface of a pot, and what function does it serve? What's my engagement with it? What I want it to be? And like I want the whole thing to be like very much of a piece, and I haven't been able to quite do that consistently in a way that feels that way. It's always felt like I do the thing that I like, and then like the glaze work is what comes after it. But there's so much that I want to do in terms of like surface work that I just haven't necessarily allocated time to dive into. So basically what I'm figuring out is, all right, I'm just going to like try them all, and I'm going to feel them all side by side. So the process allowed me to surface this understanding about it. I really want them all to kind of feel necessary to each other, all the aspects of creation. And in order to do that, there's a lot of techniques that I'm familiar with. So I want to just test them out, try it all. So that was this kind of rundown here, and I hope that was helpful to kind of see just an example from my own practice. The method really is just to set up the conditions so that the writing can feel good, so that uncertainty can feel great, you know, and it's not like a mindset shift. It's not like I'm just going to think myself towards loving uncertainty. It's about orienting differently and letting the body do that work. So before you write, just be aware of your body, be aware of your breath, be aware of the room that you're in. And as you write, let yourself be like take as input the tactile information that's coming to you. Like let that inform your nervous system. Let it feel good. Whether it's the sound of typing or how it feels to move your hand across the page when you're writing. That's a physical practice. Like we don't think of writing as like a very physical thing, but you're in a body, you have a nervous system, and there's a way that the more that you orient towards that peripherally, like you don't have to focus on it or fixate on it, the mind will follow the body where the body goes. And so the more you move towards enjoying it, the better it's going to feel whenever you're still figuring something out in your writing. And we're kind of losing this with the move towards everything becoming digital, unfortunately, but we still can take this kind of like internal process, let ourselves actually be informed by what we're feeling in the moment, not just what we're thinking. The more peripherally you take the question that you're holding, the more spacious you are about it, the more discoveries you can have. And then when you're in this more settled place, you're writing, you're more open-ended about what can come. You're going to notice more things because you're taking a peripheral orientation towards what you're writing. You'll notice different registers in your voice. Like maybe you have a more performative character. Maybe you have a more critical side of you that comes forward. Like they sound differently. Maybe you're writing very much in the character and the voice of one character. And you just feel like whether one feels like it's moving towards a revelation or more open, or whether it's closing something down and kind of keeping you constricted. Bottom line, it should feel good. The best creative work comes from somebody who's enjoying what they're doing. If you're battling it out, your reader is going to have to battle it out to read what you wrote. And don't judge what you write afterward and say, oh, this is not the correct way of doing it. Like whatever it takes to get from point A to point Z is what it takes. Like there's no one right way of doing it. The process and a product are completely different things. The writing knows what it wants to become, and your job is just to make those discoveries and let it surface.